Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win
acclimatised to the cold autumn air here in England, and they have been extremely ruthless in this first half. An early try from Ken Maumalo put them 6-0 up after it was converted by Sean Johnson. Isaac Liu and then Cody Nikarima towards the end of the half ensured a help.
Years, like David said, the moment they beat 1-6 there,
Manchester City fans, they love him.
The biggest one for me, Mark, is Raheem Sterling. You know, I'm fed up with people criticising him when he plays well. Through the night, I seen a bit of criticism. Should he have owned up? Should he have said, you know, it wasn't a foul? You know, just get off the guy's back. He is an amazing talent. He's 23. His assists, his performances, week in, week out, dominating games. You know, I just think that a lot of people, the easier thing to do with Raheem Sterling, your glass is half empty and half full. For me, it's a disgrace the way he's treated in the press at times. I think the guy should be celebrated for what he's done, what he's doing. You know, he's got a new contract, and he has been absolutely magnificent. You know, whether it's playing for England, you know, in the World Cup when people were willing him to score. You know, and he just gets. There's one player I think, you know, and I'm a neutral obviously, but Raheem Sterling, every time he plays, I want him to score, because even if he does, some people will still criticise him. It's an absolute disgrace.
I don't think that's true, Robbie.
That's my opinion.
I know it's your opinion. I'm just saying it's not one I agree with. I know there has been some criticism of Raheem over the years, but I think this suggestion now that he genuinely is just treated badly by the press as a whole is not correct.
He's been treated worse than many players in the past 2 years.
I think the majority of people in my industry and in the broadcast media accept what a great player Raheem is and admire him for that.
So you don't agree? You don't agree in the last 2 years he's been treated worse than anybody else?
I don't think so. No, I think there have been some isolated incidents, Robbie. I think there have been some isolated incidents. I think you're right. I think this feeling that he is genuinely victimised and picked on is incorrect. I have to say, I was here on Wednesday night. I think it was a terrific talking point, the penalty. My view, I think, was shared by many, which was that he was in absolutely no obligation whatsoever to own up to that. I think to suggest that he should is absolutely wrong, and I think most people are in agreement with that.
Ian, thank you for being with us as ever. Enjoy the game.
Thank you.
We have got two huge flags on the pitch which says Manchester remembers. Of course, it is Remembrance Weekend. The big Manchester City flag to our left, the big Manchester United one to our right, and the names of those associated
National
with Manchester
Service
City
covers every Premier League match live, full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
A line of bodies along the edge of the 6-yard box. Ericsson just rifles it in, and Harry Kane is there to head in almost on the goal line. More Premier League goals
serving their country, including Sandy Turnbull, who I saw his name just go up on the screen. He played for both clubs, Manchester City and Manchester United. He was the top scorer when United first won the league in 1908, won the FA Cup with both clubs, and was playing for United when they first moved to Old Trafford, and he was believed to be killed in the spring offensive in 1917 near Arras. You know, it is, when you look back at the stories, some of them just absolutely incredible. And I mentioned it last weekend, but I would recommend to people the Peter Jackson film, this new colourised film of World War I, which I've since learned is being shown tonight on BBC Two at 9:30.
I have recorded it in advance. Even a technical idiot like me has managed to do that. Apparently it is absolutely out of this world.
I saw it at the pictures, and it's really worth seeing.
Yeah, absolutely.
On this day of all days.
This day of all days. OK, we will keep you in touch with what goes on in the Rugby League. We've got the Grand Prix from 5:10 from Brazil with Jenny Gow and the team. That is live on Sports Extra as the two managers, Mourinho and Guardiola, greet each other. We've got Matt Newsom of the Rugby League. We've got Russell Fuller, of course, at the tennis. Sir Alex Ferguson is here to watch this game. And Mike Williams is going to be watching Arsenal against Wolves. Liverpool top for the moment. They've beaten Fulham 2-0. Chelsea have missed the chance to go top because they were held by Everton. Really good display by Everton. They were held 0-0 there. Sunderland have won 2-1 at Port Vale in the FA Cup. The big winners in the Cup today, Guiseley, who are 4 up on Cambridge. They won 4-3. Fleetwood, Solihull Moors, Wrexham, that'll please Robbie, all winners. Draws between Chorley and Doncaster, Barnet and Bristol Rovers, Shrewsbury and Salford as well, and Mansfield and Charlton. And in Scotland, 0-0 between Livingston and Celtic, enough to take Celtic top. Rangers 5-1 up on Motherwell, just over 20 minutes to go. Robbie Savage and John Murray. John, this is always famous last words. It's normally a really good game, this, so let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yes, we will have the period of silence before the game, and actually we've got a number of banners on the field at the moment, so the players are having to go through their pre-match routines, just slapping each other on the back and wishing one another well. In between, we've got the Manchester United
the flag to our left
being held to the end to our right, where the United fans are. To our left, the Manchester City club badge is being held.
and also in sky blue and white, being held to the end. And on the near side, Mr. Remembers, written in white across those blue banners, and in the centre circle itself, a huge red poppy. And the teams are now being gathered into the centre circle.
Those who serve since, those who are seeking to serve the armed forces, offering ultimate sacrifice of our freedom. Please welcome Manchester supporters, Reverend Peter Hall, Club Chaplain.
Please welcome into the stadium Mike Summerby and Sir Bobby Charlton.
Bobby Charlton, and Bobby
they
Charlton does likewise to...
As we that are left grow old, age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
Very moving tribute on a very, very special day. 100 years ago today, the end of the First World War. I actually discovered recently that my great-grandfather, who was French, and one of my great-uncles, who was British, both died in the First World War. It does touch us all and will continue to do so. Well, on the pitch, it's game which we've been looking forward to for a very long time, a game which divides the city into a red half and a blue half. The blue half are preeminent at the moment. Can the red half give themselves something to cheer? Manchester United much improved recently with three recent
midfielder Fernandinho with Bernardo Silva and David Silva, Riyad Mahrez, Sergio Aguero and Raheem Sterling. And the Manchester United side, De Gea, the usual back four of Young, Smalling, Lindelof and Shaw, Matic, Herrera and Fellaini. There is no Pogba, he's injured. Lingard, Martial and Marcus Rashford as the central striker, with Sanchez and Lukaku on the bench. Manchester City get us underway in the derby match here, the first meeting this season of the teams that finished first and second in the Premier League last season. And it is Anthony Taylor who is the referee. His appointment has provoked a certain amount of discussion this week. I think people should remember, Robbie Savage, he's a FIFA referee, and when you're referee at the very highest level, you know, you are impartial.
100%, John, no question about it.
And now the Manchester City supporters rising to their feet. Warm applause down in front of us, with the ball being played back to goalkeeper Ederson, who takes a touch. Rashford closes him down, and the ball is passed out safely to Laporte, who's been such an important figure in this Manchester City team this season. Aymeric Laporte has played in every minute of every match in the Premier League and the Champions League. Company on the bench today, who scored Manchester City's first goal in this match last season. Here's Bernardo Silva, takes the ball into his path, shoots left-footed. That wasn't far wide from 22 yards.
United haven't touched the ball yet, John. Such a positive start from City, passing the ball around. Raheem Sterling playing high and wide on the left-hand side. Mahrez on the right. They're keeping the full-backs wide. That's allowing Bernardo Silva, David Silva, to get in positions like the number 10 position. On that occasion, Fernandinho passed the ball to Bernardo Silva. He got in behind Matic, and then on his left foot put it wide. Great start from City.
And lovely to have you with us for the commentary, Robbie. Today it's a rare treat these days with us on 5 Live.
Only do the big games, John.
Yes, well, and this is a big game. City 0, United 0. Arsenal against Wolves is underway at the Emirates Stadium as well. And that is 0-0, just like this one. And the World Service, the BBC World Service listeners all around the globe are with us too for a match that will be being listened to and watched all around the world. Fellaini's fouled, free kick Manchester United.
Yeah, opportunity for United to put the ball in the box just before this free kick goes in, John. Interesting that obviously Sané's not playing today. Sterling on the left hand side, Mahrez on the right. So will Sterling cut inside? You know, he scored a great goal from left the other night.
Young to take the free kick, flights it into the back post. Fellaini is there, the dangerous Fellaini heads it under pressure from Walker, but he was looking to nod it down into the box, but he nodded it straight through for a goal kick. 0-0.
So going back to the Raheem Sterling point, John, he's going to be up against Ashley Young. Does Pep think he'll have more joy out there against Young than he would have against Shaw? Because if Sané would have played, you would have thought that he'd have played the left and Sterling on the right against Shaw.
Yeah, I think it's a good debate. Is this Manchester City's strongest available team? Obviously De Bruyne is injured at the moment, but with Mahrez playing, Sané on the substitutes bench, but maybe there is the thought of what Sterling might be able to do against the right side of Manchester United's defence, which of course has kept just the one clean sheet in the Premier League this season. Mendy, a little fortunate that the ball broke from and bounced for him against Lingard. Mendy again, now forward towards Sterling, who's off and running. Already Pep Guardiola is out on the edge of his coaching area, directing operations in his hooded grey coat. City slicing through the defence of Manchester United. David Silva across to Aguero, slightly behind him. Comes out to Walker. Walker leaves it back to Fernandinho, who mishits the shot, really scuffed it wide by a couple of yards.
Not being funny, United last season here started the game exactly the same. Chris Smalling and Lindelof all over the place. Sterling rushed out to play offside. He's got Lindelof 5 yards behind him, but Silva's onside, and he's tried to pick out Aguero where Matic didn't follow the runner, and it was just behind him. If he makes contact, you think Aguero puts the ball in the back of the net from 6 yards. Great start from City.
Here though, the ball over the top down the right hand side for Lingard. Laporte comes across, I think he got his chest to it, deflected it behind, but I think the free kick's been given. It was a bouncing ball. Lingard went in with his foot up, and it is indeed a free kick to City in their own left back area.
And I think that's going to be the plan for United, bypass midfield. You know, they've got the 3 midfielders in there obviously to try and stop City, and when the fullbacks get the ball, you've got the outlet of Lingard down the right, Martial down the left, and Rashford in the centre forward position. So I'm not sure we'll see United playing little triangles in the middle of the park. I think we'll see the outlet ball down the channels.
5 Live, BBC 5 Live and the World Service. Manchester City 0, Manchester United 0. Robbie Savage with us, Premier League midfielder, Welsh international. We're watching Manchester City in the sky blue shirts with the dark blue numbers, white shorts, dark blue socks, playing from left to right in the first half, towards the end where the noisy section of Manchester United fans are currently making themselves heard. Rangers now 7-1 up on Motherwell. Eros Dresda has just scored the latest goal, 7-1, after Celtic were held 0-0 at Livingston in the earlier match in the Premiership.
Good time to already mention Chris Sutton on 6-6 tonight. Yeah, Chris, hope you enjoyed that result and Cardiff's win yesterday, so make sure you phone Chris and tell him what nonsense he talks.
That's later with Ali Bruce. Ball once this game is over. Ball being chipped out from the back by Ederson. That's so cool. Chips it over both Lingard and Martial. And Walker is able to take it over the halfway line. Walker in field towards Fernandinho. Fernandinho is warned by 50,000 Manchester City fans. David Silva with a great ball over the top down the left-hand side. Sterling into the penalty area, and defenders quickly in on him, and they are able to deflect it behind for a goal kick.
Brilliant movement.
A corner, I beg your pardon.
Brilliant movement from Raheem Sterling. Ashley Young's body position was all wrong in that right back position. He didn't open his body up to see Raheem Sterling. David Silva, great ball. Sterling gets in behind Young, and it was Small who come across, deflected it.
Here's the corner. David Silva outswinging to the near post, which is headed away by Fellaini. Comes out to Manchester City, and it's played here to the right hand side to Mahrez. High ball in towards the edge of the far side of the penalty area, which is stooped and headed away by Rashford, and then a free kick is given against Lingard on the far side. But we've played 6 minutes, and already twice Manchester City have been through like that down the left hand side as they play down the right hand side of the Manchester United defence.
And it's whether it's David Silva, Sterling. We haven't factored in yet the runs of Mendy from the left back position when he can get in behind as well when Sterling drops deep. They are targeting that side. Lingard obviously in the side today, and Ashley Young.
Free kick for Manchester City. It was Lingard just a shove in the back of Raheem Sterling as the two of them challenge for the ball. The two England teammates, they'll be together in the squad this week. David Silva then with this free kick, hands on his hips. This is his 16th Manchester derby. David Silva swings it in. Fellaini is there to leap and head it away unchallenged. Packed penalty area though. Mahrez now on the right hand side. Mahrez left foot back to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva curls it in. Fellaini comes across, heads it out towards the Manchester City right, has headed it straight to Mahrez. Mahrez up against Shaw, takes him on, step over, wins a corner off the Manchester United left back.
John, it's a bit embarrassing. What we are 6-7 minutes in, it's attack v defence. It is attack v defence in a Manchester derby. 7 minutes. City just looking to play, looking to penetrate, looking to score. United just defending.
Liverpool now back on top of the table, but Manchester City just 1 point behind them. And here is the second corner for City from the right hand side. Mahrez plays it into deep one. This to the back post, header from Aguero, but he is adjudged to have shoved over Herrera at the far post, and it's a free kick to Manchester United.
Yeah, good strength from Herrera. Actually just got in front of Aguero. He's on the corner of the 6-yard box on the far side, just nudges Herrera. Herrera goes down. Good decision from the referee, Anthony Taylor.
The new look, Sergio Aguero, Robbie, with, what do we call this? Is this a blonde rinse or a silvery rinse for Aguero? What do we call that? Silver?
Silver, yeah, silver, John.
Yeah, 2 silvers in the team, and also a silver head.
He's chosen to go silver, John, unlike your natural self.
Well, I'm growing old gracefully, Robbie. Let that be a lesson to you. Throw in for City. And Bernardo Silva does really well, actually. I thought he was going to lose out. 2 United players were on him, but he tigerishly tackled back. Now here's David Silva on the left hand side. Little ball in field towards Sergio Aguero, looking unfamiliar with that silver hair. And then challenge comes in from Matic, who's come in for a little bit of criticism in recent weeks. Nemanja Matic, but dispossessed Aguero. Out for a throw. City take it quickly. 0-0, very early stages here on a dry afternoon, overcast, and the floodlights brightly on. Jose Mourinho wearing the same coat that he was wearing in Turin on Wednesday night when Manchester United recorded that famous victory. What a daunting challenge this week to have to go to Turin and now here across Manchester within the space of 5 days. But so far so good after the victory on Wednesday. Here's Aguero on the edge of the penalty area. They're being tested here though in the early stages. Back out to Sterling. Sterling then pulls it back to David Silva. He looks for Mendy on the left hand side. Mendy, low cross into the penalty area. Fellaini was there again for at least the 3rd time to clear defensively in his own penalty area, and then Rashford can't keep the ball on the halfway line, and Manchester City will come again. David Silva making himself available 5-6 yards inside the United half. Turns, looks to the flanks. Sterling, Fellaini was quite heavy with the challenge. Down goes Sterling, free kick.
Foul, correct. Can't get near these City players. You know, and you can see Rashford when he got played the ball, he was calling for his midfield to get up and support him. Isolated. You know, Rashford now is 20 yards inside his own half. And he's the furthest forward United player. That's how deep they are. But listen, John, we know United's second halves recently have been very, very good. But if City score, you can just see them going, how many they're going to score. But if they can hold out United the second half, we know they do, play exceptionally well and have a go.
City look hungry and they look in the mood as the ball is turned round the corner out to the left-hand side by David Silva. Sterling swings one into the back post. It's pulled by Bernardo Silva right across the face of goal. David Silva is there, gets the ball under control and strikes it right-footed into the net, and off he goes with his sky blue shirted teammates to celebrate wildly in one corner of the stadium. It's taken them less than 12 minutes. It's 1-0 in the derby to the champions.
And we've got to give credit to Anthony Taylor, the referee. He waved play on. I think he was going to give a penalty. Smalling pulls Aguero back. You watch the referee. He waves play on. He lets the advantage go because Silva's in his goal-scoring position. And David Silva on his right foot blasts it into the goal. Great play from City. The ball gets played wide. It's Sterling. He cuts back on his right foot. He plays a wonderful ball into the box. Bernardo Silva cuts it back. And then it's Silva with a finish. The referee Anthony Taylor does so well with the advantage.
As the ball came over, not sure how much he does impede him. Aguero goes down. But I mean, he lashed it when it came to him. He got the ball down, David Silva, and from 6-7 yards out, absolutely lashed it. And it actually came off David De Gea on the way into the net. But to save that would have been incredible.
God, it's all City deserve. We're talking about Manchester United here. Manchester United Football Club have come, as Ian Ladyman said earlier, are we surprised? Well, not really. But City, so dominant with the ball possession. Look, they give the ball away again.
Given away by Martial. Then he tried to handball it, but Aguero still found Mahrez. Manchester City are all over United. Ball into Bernardo Silva. Shoots and it's blocked by Smalling, who came across, but it's only blocked back to Manchester City in the full-back position. Mahrez back to Walker. Walker exchanging passes with Mahrez again. And Robbie's right, the game here in April, I watched the highlights again yesterday. The chances that Manchester City had in the first half of that match, it is like history repeating itself. City with Stones in the centre circle. Stones steers it out to the right, low across the pitch to Mahrez. Now Bernardo Silva. Matic comes in with a challenge. The ball doesn't bounce out of play. It is now flagged as being out as Bernardo Silva pulled it back. So an early goal here, Robbie, but an early goal at Arsenal as well. Mike Williams.
Well, we said it was 1979 the last time Wolves beat Arsenal, but they're ahead here at the Emirates against the run of play, and it is Ivan Cavallero, this £7 million summer signing from Monaco, who has slotted in after some neat play with Jimenez, the Mexican, and Wolves ahead here at the Emirates. Arsenal 0, Wolves 1.
So Arsenal losing, but Manchester City very much winning through David Silva's goal. That is his 7th of the season in all competitions for the little Spaniard, who's been given a send-off by Spain this week, I notice. Next Sunday, Spain have got a friendly against Bosnia-Herzegovina, and David Silva, who's now retired from international football, will kick the match off. That's how Spain are doing it.
John, 85.6% possession from Manchester City.
Is that a record? 15 minutes played. United have got a free kick, so that possession stat will be rising slightly. Young takes this in now to the edge of the 6-yard box. Ederson came for it. It was actually headed away, and now Herrera puts in the challenge, but the ball runs out of play near the corner flag.
People listening in the cars at home, whatever they're listening, people think we might be, it's all City, but let me just read you these stats out. 85.6% possession, passes 107. Manchester United 19 passes.
That's incredible. Although actually on the evidence of what we're seeing, it's actually hardly surprising. Throw-ins taken by City. It's bounced out of play for a throw-in to Manchester United. Shaw, now Fellaini into the penalty area, drives it across, comes off Stones. It's a corner to Manchester United.
Yeah, and it's Rashford who's going to come out to this near side to take the corner. It's going to be an in-swing up with his right foot. They've got height, they've got Small in there, they've got Fellaini, they've got Matic.
They've got a good record of scoring from set pieces this season. Rashford into the 6-yard box, headed away by Fernandinho for City. Shaw back into the area, shouts for offside against Matic, no flag. Rashford gets it on the left. Rashford taking on Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva goes in and comes out with the ball. Rashford's chasing him and he's forced the error. Matic now puts his foot on the ball. He's looking for support. Has to go back up the line to Shaw and then all the way back to the halfway line to Lindelof. Cheers to the rafters of the Etihad Stadium from the Manchester City fans, because now trouble here at the back as Herrera's caught in possession by Sterling. Sterling now into the box. Herrera recovering. Step over from Sterling, and then the challenge comes in on the Manchester City man by Herrera, who recovered well after his initial error. But now Martial's in danger of losing the ball. He has lost it, and referee's played advantage again. Walker rips over the cross and wastes the advantage, and it's out of play for a throw.
We've heard Pep talk about City with the ball. There we've seen two examples without the ball. Sterling gets the ball off Herrera. He drives. Herrera recovery run was good. Then Bernardo Silva, who by the way has been magnificent so far in his opening 17 minutes, gets the ball off Martial. When City haven't got the ball, John, they press high up and try and win the ball back high up the park. United sit back and let City have it. Complete contrasting styles. I know which one I'd rather watching. It's this Man City side.
He's always done well, Bernardo Silva, since he came here. But now he is very much the Bernardo Silva that we saw when Monaco were really flying a couple of seasons ago. And he is an integral part of this Manchester City setup. Manchester City leading Manchester United by 1-0. United with the ball. He has Shaw on the left-hand side. So Manchester City again trying to keep pace with Liverpool. Still Liverpool, Chelsea and Manchester City unbeaten in the Premier League this season, with Liverpool having won 2-0 against Fulham earlier and Chelsea 0-0 with Everton at Stamford Bridge in our first two commentaries of the day from the Premier League. Here's Martial now. Martial is up against Walker, but the ball runs away for the England right back, and Walker wins a throw-in off Martial. In fact, it's gone out for a goal kick to Manchester City. So it's still Arsenal 0, Wolves 1, Rangers 7-1 up on Motherwell. That was a 3 o'clock kick-off.
6:06 later, Chris Sutton, 08085 909 693.
Or you can get in touch at BBC 606 on social media. We'll let you know when the lines are open for that later. And Fernandinho closed down by Fellaini. Ball runs away from Mahrez. United play it through the middle, but Rashford stumbled. Cheers of amusement from the City fans. Stones has taken it into the United half, gives it to Sterling. Sterling now turns, faces the player, gets it back from Mahrez. No, just a little toe in from Fellaini to take it away. And now Rashford will run it away. Rashford, who is under pressure from three players.
Done well there though, John, didn't he? He was on this left-hand side. Good skill keeping the ball. And it's better for United, John. They're keeping the ball without really going forward, but they're just getting the passes in because United coming forward again. Up to Lingard through the middle. Martial on the left-hand side. Martial, the inform. Martial strikes it square towards Matic. Matic stood up well, tried to slip it forward to the edge of the area to Rashford, but John Stones stepped forward and won possession back for Manchester City, and eventually the ball runs out of play for a throw-in to City on the far side. And I think Herrera has taken a bang, so we'll just have a little stoppage. I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but Sunderland did win at Port Vale in the FA Cup, the later kick-off in the FA Cup today. So Sunderland are into tomorrow's second round draw, which you'll be able to hear tomorrow night, Monday night, part of the Monday Night Club on 5 Live, when Ian Wright and Mark Chapman will have Chris Sutton and Don Hutchison with them in the studio. In fact, it'll be Mark Pugac, won't it, tomorrow night, who will be presenting, because Mark of the Chapman variety will be on the FA Cup draw duty. Herrera just taken a knock in the face, I think, maybe a flying hand, and I think he's going to be okay. He's had to receive some treatment, so we'll have to leave the field. Manchester City leading Manchester United by 1-0. David Silva scoring the goal in the 12th minute of the match. That's 3 goals in his last 3 matches, and now 4 in his last 5. And City
getting the ball back underway. Here's Mahrez on the right-hand side. Mahrez moving in field away from Shaw. Still going Mahrez, clips the ball out to Sterling, takes it down, actually just slips underneath his foot, but he's able to recover and play it back behind him to Mendy, and then back towards the centre circle where Laporte gives it back to Mendy. Manchester United are camped now deep inside their own half, with City leading by 1-0. Rangers have won 7-1 against Motherwell. That's a final score. Celtic are back on top of the table, incidentally, or indeed on top of the table on goal difference after their 0-0 draw earlier. Here is Stones in the centre circle. Stones to Walker. The ball comes to a stop, and Manchester United happy and content to allow Manchester City to have possession here, where they're not doing them any danger. And it seems almost as though City are happy just to have a little breather after a really impressive first 20 minutes in which they scored once but opened up Manchester United on a number of occasions. Walker now to the right hand side to Mahrez, and then back into the City half to Walker again. Manchester City currently on an 11 match unbeaten run in all competitions and have won 6 in a row. Ball to the left hand side. Mendy was there. It's deflected out of play off Young for a throw in to Manchester City, just a little further on than level with the edge of the United penalty area. Mendy takes it back towards the halfway line. Laporte now to David Silva as he was closed down by Herrera. Just a first time touch to Mendy. Mendy takes on and beats Lingard, then goes back towards the halfway line. Laporte, you're just wondering when are they going to step it up. In possession, it's all slow at the moment. It's Aguero who's in possession. A 10-goal Sergio Aguero this season, with his 2 goals that he scored in the Community Shield. City still in possession. This will be upping the stats back in their direction, Robbie. Stones now to Mendy on the left-hand side. Sterling comes a little deeper, and then Sterling does swing a high pass out towards Mahrez. Little hands in the back on Martial, and Martial's able to peel away and actually take the ball down for the red shirts of Manchester United. Shaw strikes it long. Fellaini with a touch. He's under pressure from Fernandinho, middle of his own half. He points Smalling to go out to the right-hand side, and Young now passes it forward towards Lingard, and there had to be a touch in there from Herrera to take it away from the City players. And United now trying to find a foothold in the game. Shaw flicks it forward. Lingard's come out to the left hand side here. Lingard to Martial, now to Shaw again, but Shaw's attempted ball forward hits his England colleague. Walker bounces out of play for a throw-in level with the edge of the penalty area.
That was well worked there. Lingard had found himself in this left hand side. Martial, Shaw playing little triangles. Kyle Walker got himself in a good position actually, because Lingard made a run in behind him, but Shaw couldn't find the pass. But better from United.
1-0 to City. Mentioned the fact that Sir Bobby Charlton is here, part of the ceremony, the remembrance ceremony before the game. Sir Alex Ferguson's been pictured here as well, so great to see him here too. But he won't be enjoying this much. And indeed, Aguero has robbed the ball back from Herrera. Aguero now to the edge of the penalty area. Still going. Aguero slipped as he looked to shoot. He had 3 United players around him, and it's worked back towards De Gea, who passes it away.
Yeah, good work there from Herrera and Fellaini actually to get back 4 United players around.
And now combination between Rashford and Lingard, who's just tripped by Fernandinho, and down he goes sprawling, Lingard, across the turf, and it's a free kick in the centre circle. That's snuffed out the United attack.
Well, I'm surprised that Fernandinho hasn't got a yellow card there actually, because it was a good touch from Lingard to get away from Fernandinho in the middle of the park, with a them being at the back 4. The question was the touch a little bit too heavy? But if the referees give a free kick, there has to be a yellow card for Fernandinho.
Yeah, that wasn't one of the little fouls that was being talked about. That was a foul that really snuffed out the United attack. We'll go to the Arsenal-Wolves game when we get a chance, but it's a free kick to Manchester United. Young's going to take it, slips over as he does so. Smalling heads it up across the penalty area. Stones is able to come and head it away. Shaw back onto the chest now of Herrera, who wants it down the line from Martial. Herrera drives it across, but it's blocked by Walker. Flick from Matic. Martial looking for the curling shot. Stones threw himself in front of the shot from Martial. Comes out to Young, middle of the City half. Now the ball is lifted in by Lingard, looking for Smalling, but the header, but it lands on the roof of the Manchester City net.
Much better from United there, and Martial found himself in the position where we know he could score from, on that left hand side, cutting in You know, he opened his body and shapes it to hit that far corner, but John Stones threw himself in front of the shot. I think it's hit him below the belt, the stomach area. You know, he's down on his knees now, just getting his wind back. But it was a good block from John Stones. I've got to say, John Stones and Laporte in the centre of this City defence have been exceptional all season. And the big question is, John, Man City, it's difficult to have a shot against them, never mind a great opportunity. You know, United, no attempts on target so far. Ederson's not made a save to make. If City score again, you cannot concede that this team conceding 2 goals. So the next goal is massive.
Confirmation, the ball did hit John Stones below the belt. City leading 1-0. What about Arsenal Wolves, Mike Williams?
Still Arsenal 0, Wolves 1 here. Action at both ends in the last few minutes. Connor Cody blocking a Lacazette effort from close range. Iwobi then saw a shot blocked by a lunging Gold shirt. Wolves then raced up the other end. Costa shot straight at Leno, who could only parry it to the onrushing Jimenez, who caught Leno, who was trying to collect at the second attempt and needed treatment. But it's still Wolves who lead here by 1-0.
Play back underway here at the Etihad. 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. Manchester United with Martial over on the far side. Anthony Martial just flicks it back. Now Matic taking it on through the middle, but everyone bar Aguero is back behind the ball in a Manchester City shirt. Fellaini lifts a pass out to Young on the right hand side. Young taking on Mendy, goes down the line, swings it into the near post, but an easy catch for Ederson, who's just able to drop onto his knees and gather the ball into his chest, Robbie.
Now Jose Mourinho will be so disappointed there. He does so well, Ashley Young on that right hand side, moves the ball past Mendy, whips it in. Ederson's actually gathered the ball on the 6-yard line. You've got Lingard, Rashford and Martial standing near the penalty spot. Nobody's made a run across the goalkeeper.
Almost half an hour played, and I don't know whether you can talk about Manchester United starting slowly. I think it's just City have been too good for them.
They're coming back into the game though, John, having a bit more possession.
But is that, I think City have just sort of dropped off it, haven't
they? Yeah, they have, John. You know, without the ball, City have retreated a little bit.
Here they are though, Bernardo Silva. They need to get him into the play a little more, Bernardo Silva, and then things will start to happen on the evidence of what we've seen in this match and indeed what we've seen of him this season, the little Portuguese. Manchester City 1, Manchester United 0. And here's Walker, Kyle Walker taking the ball into Manchester United territory. Martial, who's scored 5 goals in his last 4 Premier League appearances. Anthony Martial just closes him down. However, City go infield and then back out to the right to Mahrez. Mahrez moving in from the right flank, as is his wont, but then gives the ball away, passes it straight to Fellaini. And that means that Manchester United can come forward. No, it doesn't, because Rashford and Lingard have lost possession. However, it's taken back on the edge of the penalty area, and now Matic to the right hand side to Ashley Young, the Manchester United captain. Still no involvement from Valencia, incidentally. Then a high ball forward towards Rashford, who is adjudged to have tugged back John Stones, and it's a free kick to City in the middle of their own half.
Good play from Matic in the middle of the park, controlling the play there, getting the ball wide. But the last thing Rashford wants is a high ball up to his chest when he's got Laporte and Stones. He wants the ball down the channels in between the centre halves so we can run on to.
Yes, I remember Rashford scoring that goal. It was a winning goal, wasn't it? When just as he was bursting onto the scene in 2016, Marcus Rashford, when United came here and won under Louis van Gaal. And they've been here twice under the management of Jose Mourinho and not lost. Last season, obviously, and then a 0-0 the season before. Here is Laporte, who plays it to Mendy on the left-hand side. Mendy then goes back to Aymeric Laporte, who will just give it back to Stones. Just feels as though City, having had that brilliant 20 minutes, have almost just said, right, we've given it a go. We've given it a massive go for 20 minutes. Come up with 1 goal. Now we'll just show a little bit of caution for a period. Guardiola watching from the corner of his coaching area. Stones chipping the ball out towards the left-hand side. And now Mendy in field towards David Silva. David Silva running away from Fellaini, gives it to Sterling at pace, and Young was able to come in and dispossess Sterling. So Manchester United have it back inside their own territory. Matic now left-footed, looking for Young down the left-hand side, took it in his stride. Sterling back there with him, does really well against Ashley Young, wins the ball back, stopped it reaching him, and then sets City off on another attack. Fernandinho now to Aguero on the left-hand side. Sterling on the edge of the area, David Silva as well, but it's Aguero in possession in the full-back position, gives it to David Silva now, near the dead ball line, pulls it across, and it's blocked away by Smalling for a throw-in on the left.
They can't pick David Silva up when he's in the final third of United. He's so clever. Sometimes he'll stand up against the centre half, then he'll drop into a number 10 position, then he'll go out wide. For the goal, he just drifted into the area. Nobody went with him. It was poor defending, and he's found himself in so much space at times. His movement, his ability to get into little spaces, fascinating to watch, David Silva.
Yep, that Spain game's actually been played in Gran Canaria. Laporte is going to try a shot from way out, 35 yards plus. That wasn't very Guardiola. He's blasted it way high and wide into the Manchester City fans behind the goal to our right. Yeah, so that's the nice thing about the Spain game, played in his native Gran Canaria. He'll be going back there, and what a lovely send-off that is. I have to say, I'm looking forward to the Wayne Rooney send-off this week for England, which will bring you on Thursday night. Slightly uneasy about it, but having considered it, England's leading and record goal scorer and all that, I'm happy to go with it.
No interest, John and Welsh.
And we'll have commentary on Wales' game against Denmark on Friday night. Wales could be promoted in the course of the next week. Martial passes the ball out of play on the halfway line. More cheers, ironic cheers from the Manchester City fans. And it's a throw-in that Walker will take. Both England games will be on 5 Live Thursday night. And actually, next Sunday afternoon, the big game against Croatia. Here's Laporte in the centre circle. Laporte just putting his foot on the ball and then playing it square to Stones. Definitely established themselves, those two, as the first choice central defenders, Stones and Laporte, as Walker goes back into the centre circle. Similarly, Manchester United look to have gone with Smalling and Lindelof. Indeed, this back four, 6th consecutive match, this back four has started for Manchester United. Clean sheets aren't coming though, and there won't be one here today either because of David Silva's goal already in this match. Here is Walker now on the right hand side. Walker taking it on and looking for Bernardo Silva. Lindelof has come out and committed himself, and Bernardo Silva is away from him in the twinkling of an eye and gives it to Mahrez, and Mahrez's left-footed cross is headed away at the back post by Herrera, and then a foul, a little bit of a lunge by Bernardo Silva, caught Rashford, who just deflected the ball away, and it's a yellow card for Bernardo Silva for that.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it's a good decision from Anthony Taylor, the referee. But Rashford, who's playing as a centre forward, he picked the ball up, 5-10 yards outside his own penalty area, helping his side out. Now that's how much pressure United are under.
Third test latest, the Rugby League this is, England 0, New Zealand 28 at Elland Road. That's on BBC 2, and you'll be able to follow it via the BBC Sport website and app as well. But New Zealand in charge, England 2-0 up in the series. And the Grand Prix, I believe, is not far away from starting in Brazil. Here's Lingard through the middle. Lingard back to the left-hand side, corner of the penalty area. Shaw plays it across, but it hits Martial, who couldn't sort his feet out, and it just skewed away through to goalkeeper Ederson.
United's best bit of joy is down this left-hand side with Martial and Shaw. And Rashford coming over as well at times, bypassing midfield United. But you're right, John, the game has slowed down a little bit after City's just ridiculous start, how fast they played with and without the ball. They've got the goal 1-0 up. Now they're just trying to control the tempo of the game.
1-0 Manchester City, and the champions coming forward again with Sterling. Sterling to Aguero, back to Sterling, who shoots, but it's deflected. He was stretching for it, and it took the pace off it, and De Gea was able to come out and pick it up.
But that can't happen, John, from a United point of view. You've got 3 defensive-minded midfielders in there. Sterling picks the ball up, he drives in between Fellaini and Matic. Then he's at the heart of the United defence, tries a 1-2 with Aguero, didn't come off. He had the shot blocked, but you can't let Sterling drive in between you if you're playing as 3 centre midfielders who are defensive.
This is better from Manchester United as they come forward, Herrera and Young, and then Young, I think in 2 minds, takes his eye off the ball, and there's a little touch and it takes away from him, and Manchester City are back in possession with Mahrez. Yes, the Grand Prix, if you want to listen to that, getting underway very shortly, if not already underway. Lewis Hamilton on pole position, the champion again confirmed as world champion, and that is on 5 Live Sports Extra on your digital radio, or indeed through your BBC Sounds app, which you must have, Robbie, I would have thought, the BBC Sounds app, because that's where you get all of your radio, music and podcasts.
Yeah, I seen Ian Dennis was in the trailer, John.
Yes, he was. But that is where you can pick up your Flintoff Savage and the ping pong guy.
I think I was on it for 0.0001 seconds.
Were you?
Yeah.
I must have missed that.
I'm not surprised.
Here's Fernandinho playing it to the left-hand side to Mendy. City are 1-0 up. David Silva's early goal. And they're in control. And now the ball on the left-hand side with Mendy, who holds off Herrera, gives it back to David Silva. David Silva now then strikes it back towards the centre circle. And Stones turns back onto his right foot, gives it to Walker. Walker tries to pick out one of those passes down the left-hand side to Mendy. Do well here, Mendy, but he does reach it, drives it across, a bit of a bubbler that was blocked behind by Young for a corner.
Mendy's first thought when he gets into that forward area is to smash it across with pace, with power, first time. And Aguero and Bernardo Silva and all those attacking players know exactly what he's going to do. He doesn't take a touch, lets it roll to him, and then just smashes it across. Corner City.
Corner City. David Silva to take this. Manchester United. Here it is. Towards the penalty spot. No one gets a touch. It bounces, and actually Martial, trying to swing it away, has just sort of scuffed it back to Manchester City. The Grand Prix starts in a couple of minutes. Here's Walker back towards Mendy, and then Walker again. And actually, from being a thrilling spectacle for those first 20 minutes, it's now actually become a bit of a chess match between the sides.
It has, John, but City still look a threat. They're patient, and then they look for, that move and that somebody coming towards the ball to spin in behind, or Aguero dropping deep. But they are happy keeping the ball. United, no attempts on target, John.
No. Here's Bernardo Silva. Turns and gives it out to Mahrez. Mahrez up against Shaw, goes one way, then cuts back, still in possession of the ball. Mahrez, and then back to the centre circle. Again it goes. And now Bernardo Silva, having dropped deep on the right-hand side, he takes possession and he's off on a weaving run, Bernardo Silva, but under pressure. Gave it straight to Young, and Young quickly away. And Manchester United break through Rashford down the right-hand side. Lingard's in the middle. Rashford still in possession. Rashford up against Laporte. Tried a clever little flick, put his foot on the ball at pace, dragged it back, and then kicked it straight out of play.
And I've got sympathy there with Rashford. He was on his own, John, down the right-hand side. You had Lingard, Herrera and Martial joining him, but they were in the line with him. He had no backup because Matic and Fellaini were deep. No options whatsoever.
1-0 City. Half-time approaching. 6 or 7 minutes plus added time. Bernardo Silva now curling a ball forward, but Lindelof is able to take that down, give it to Shaw. Manchester United start again from the back. No Paul Pogba, if you didn't hear the start of the match, ruled out with an injury, as Herrera plays the ball forward down into the full-back position for Rashford, who does well, looks for Martial into the box, shoots, but it's blocked by Fernandinho, who came across, and that deflected it and took the pace off it, and Ederson was able to come across to his right.
Yeah, they were appealing for offside, and Kyle Walker was the one that switched off. It was one of those where they're waiting for the linesman to put the flag up. Kyle Walker just switched off, left Martial, and Martial got inside him, and that position again, John, he's to the left of the goal, wants to curl it in that far corner. Great challenge from Fernandinho, wasn't it, to get back there. He does that job so well. Puga said it before the game. Is he the most underrated player in the Premier League for what he does for a side? Yes, he doesn't score the goals. When he does, they're usually fantastic from long range. But what he offers this side in terms of, he's doing one job. United have got 3 players doing his job.
Yeah.
And he does it better.
33 years old now. I suppose that's the only concern. They did want Jorginho, didn't they? Who ended up with Sarri at Chelsea. But I think that'll be the area that Guardiola is looking to and thinking, right, I need to have another option in that position. They've got options in every other position, several of them. 1-0 Manchester City lead, and as it stands would be heading back to the top of the table. Liverpool winners against Fulham earlier in our first commentary match of the day. Here's Mahrez again. Now to David Silva. David Silva looking for Mahrez. Mahrez, having moved infield, tries to lift the ball out, takes a deflection, but lands at the feet of Mendy, who had to readjust, and then gives it back to the little bearded Bernardo Silva. Now the shaven-headed and bearded David Silva, and then back towards the halfway line again. With 5 minutes to go to half-time. BBC Radio 5 Live will have more reaction from the other matches during the half-time break. Liverpool 2-0 winners against Fulham, Chelsea 0, Everton 0. Wolves currently winning 1-0 at Arsenal in the other match that kicked off at 4:30. And throw in for Manchester City on the far side, taken in towards Aguero does well near the byline, takes it on, and David Silva it is, I beg his pardon, had 3 United players around him, tried to wriggle his way through, and in the end was able to win a corner.
That's come from a throw-in, John. Fellaini switches off, the ball's played into David Silva, he turns Herrera after he run off Fellaini, drives into the box, and another corner set. It's so poor from United defensively, but you're saying that, John, 1-0. We've seen what happened here last year, didn't we, when City kept missing chances? United went on to win the game.
So David Silva cheered to the heavens as he goes over there to take the corner that he swings in. There's a United player down on the ground in the box. It's cleared away by United. It was Smalling, and he's appealing to referee Taylor. City have it again on the far side. David Silva challenge on that far side on Bernardo Silva. He wanted a free kick for that. It was Luke Shaw who'd gone across there and put in the challenge on him. United have cleared it to the halfway line, and then Fernandinho is tripped by Lingard, who got there just a little late. Referee just allows play to continue though, because Manchester City are in possession. He certainly looked to do that. Anthony Taylor play advantage when he can, and then the blatant block by Shaw will result in a yellow card for the Manchester United left back for blocking Riyad Mahrez.
Little nutmegs from Mahrez on Luke Shaw there. Gets the ball, puts it through his leg, run rounds him, just pulls him down. Definite yellow card from Shaw. Too good, Mahrez. You know what the wide players do for City, John? They make the pitch so wide, they stay wide all the time, and that creates space everywhere else for like Silva, the 2 Silvers. It's brilliant to watch.
For United though, it's just about staying in the game, isn't it?
It is.
A little bit like Juventus on Wednesday night. Free kick. Manchester City with a chance here as half-time approaches. Mahrez to play this in, left-footed. He's got that good pace. Headed up in the air by Fellaini though. Follow-up challenge by Smalling. He claimed he was shoved inside the penalty area. It's hooked behind, and Ashley Young has gone to the referee. There was an arm in the air as well, I saw in there. As final touch was from Fellaini. United are saying that Smalling was fouled. Referee Taylor says no, only a corner to the home side. David Silva drags the ball back into the quadrant, very close to Smalling's arm. Silva with a corner. It's headed goalwards by Fernandinho, but blocked by at least 2 players in red. Headed forward by Mendy for City, and then Fernandinho under pressure, and then a little touch on the far side. Aguero is out there. Aguero back to David Silva, stabs it into the area to Sterling on the left. Sterling chips it back across. David Silva jumps for it. I think he used his body to deflect it forward, but De Gea was able to pick it up.
It's down that left-hand side, isn't it? Whether it's Silva popping up, Sterling popping up. You know, for all the pressure, John, City's only shot on target has been ended up in the net. So we can say that they've dominated possession. Yes, 70% possession. United haven't had an attempt on target. City have only had 1, but they've scored from it.
So just over a minute of the first 45 to go. 1-0 to Manchester City here, 1-0 to Wolves at the Emirates. Bernardo Silva taking the ball on towards the edge of the area, slipping it forward for Aguero, who shoots into the side netting from a very tight angle with defenders coming back.
Come from City pressing high. Herrera gives the ball away. Bernardo Silva was alert, waits for Aguero, who's on the outside of him in the penalty area. Tight angle, good way to pass, but Aguero just couldn't get across David De Gea's goal, puts it into the side netting, but another chance for City.
So it's a goal kick that De Gea will take. United fans in the stand on the lower tier and the upper tier behind him, and De Gea's goal kick straight down the middle, and Rashford I see stands and barks instructions back down the pitch. Absolutely no chance with that, and City are back in possession, and Ederson is toying with Rashford before he picks it up.
So what's Rashford's looking at his midfield and he's saying, come on, come and support me, because he's just closing people down on his own. He's getting passed around.
The 2 goals Rashford have scored this season have both been when he's come on as a substitute. Fellaini heading it forward. Stones nods it away on the edge of the area. 1 minute of added time at the end of the first period. And It deflects back to Lindelof, and now Shaw. And Lindelof, as the ball runs back into his own half, just plays it back to De Gea inside the penalty area. I think after the first 20 minutes, United will almost take this position, just 1-0 down, as De Gea's long ball downfield is beyond Fellaini and through to Ederson again.
Is that what we're really watching with Manchester United? The last two attacks, a long ball from David De Gea, straight to Ederson, on that occasion straight to Ederson. It was Fellaini in the centre-forward position chasing it.
And not very good long balls either, for that matter. This time it's City who go with a big, high, long one to the edge of the area that Shaw heads down, and Matic is able to clip forward. But back to Walker, Fernandinho. There might be time for one more attack. Anthony Taylor looks at his whistle. No, there isn't. That is it. 1-0 to Manchester City at half-time, who started the game so strongly. At one stage, Robbie, you were telling me that City had 85% possession in the half, but just the one goal in the 12th minute, which was created
which I just think is disgraceful. And the other thing we've enjoyed just before half-time, and I've...
Unfortunately, early as the 11th minute, which will make it very difficult for Manchester United. City yet to appear, but they will have gone into the interval with their tails up. They're about to emerge now. David Silva's goal in the 11th minute, the difference between these two sides, but frankly the difference can be measured in other ways, and the difference in terms of quality has been huge. The difference in terms of chances created has been huge. Manchester United, the comeback kings currently of Premier League football. It's going to be one hell of a comeback if they can return from this, as Manchester City will look in the opening period of the second half to start the way they did in the first, and maybe a second goal would end it as a contest. United about to kick off, courtesy of Jesse Lingard, who knocks it back to Victor Lindelof, and the ball is immediately played forward by Manchester United. Is that going to touch on Fernandinho's head? I think it might have done. Mendy has had to make sure that it doesn't go behind for a corner. United making two changes to the team which beat Juventus in midweek. Fellaini for the injured Pogba, and Rashford for Sanchez, who's been dropped. Lukaku is still on the bench. Sergio Aguero back for City to replace Gabriel Jesus. Benjamin Mendy referred to Alexander Zinchenko at fullback. No changes to those lineups at the interval. So City have Ederson in goal, the back four of Carl Walker, John Stones, Aymeric Laporte and Benjamin Mendy. David Silva, their goal scorer, Fernandinho.
The 5 Live commentary team, the BBC World Service are with us as well. Get a word from Robbie in a moment, but Matic sliding into a challenge. The ball runs away from him. Bernardo Silva has got it back, and then Bernardo Silva runs into Shaw. And United in the red shirts, black shorts and red socks go backwards towards their own penalty area. So it's got to be better from Manchester United, Robbie.
It certainly has, and as Chris alluded to, the hoofball in that first half of Manchester United, the lack of creativity in midfield. They do miss Paul Pogba, but there's no question about that. But as you've just said, John, reading the teams out, they have got a strong bench, Manchester United. They are a second half team, but can they create chances against this City side?
City coming again as they play from right to left. The ball is given to Mahrez. Mahrez up against Shaw. He's on his left foot. He's into the penalty area, runs back out of it, and then gives it back behind him to Walker. And the play is switched here to the left-hand side. Still spectators coming back to their seats, warm drinks in hand, watching Sterling into the penalty area, playing it across, but playing it straight into Herrera, who appeals for and wins a free kick from Anthony Taylor. And as for sudden death during 606, I used to support Alistair Bruce Ball, and now I'm changing to Chris Sutton now.
He took you out a little bit there, John, didn't he?
I know.
Did you hear that? A little bit there, yeah.
I thought he was my friend and colleague. Here, the ball is played through the middle. Space is opened up for Manchester City. Aguero now 1-2 with Mahrez. Aguero drives it in, hits it with pace. It flew past De Gea, and it's 2-0 Manchester City. They couldn't get the second goal in the first half, but they've got it within 3 minutes of the start of the second, and they're in complete control now as Aguero scores his 11th goal of the season, and De Gea just didn't see it.
Well, you've got to say the 1-2 is magnificent. Lindelof's body shape, he turned the wrong way. Aguero got in behind him on a tight angle, John. He smashed it. David De Gea puts both arms in the air, and it goes straight above him into the top corner. I think it's poor goalkeeping, John. I really do. The 1-2 is a tight angle. He's smashed it above David De Gea. He can't get his arms up quick enough. It's flew into the roof of the net. Brilliant play from Mahrez and Aguero. But I've got to say, I think David De Gea will be really disappointed. The quality of goalkeeper he is, John, to be beat from there.
He ends up on his knees, and it does described it perfectly, Robbie. De Gea, it's hit with such force by Aguero. Up went his hands, his gloves, and it actually goes between his fingers. And he's not fumbled it, it's just flashed above his head, and he's ended up on his knees. And you're right, I think a goalkeeper of his standing, David De Gea, as they say in the finest commentary style, when he sees that, he'll be disappointed with that. 2-0 to Manchester City then, as Mendy just chesting the ball back to goalkeeper Ederson. But it was lovely stuff, Aguero and Mahrez's combination.
But it just goes to show, going with your run of the 1-2 is brilliant. Aguero passed it into Mahrez, and then Lindelof turns the wrong way, John, so he couldn't get to Aguero as Mendy goes forward.
Mendy on the left hand side giving it into Aguero, who's just scored his 11th goal of the season. Aguero back to the edge of the area receiving it from Walker, but it's spun away from him. Sterling though is quickly in to snaffle it back for City. Now Bernardo Silva to the right hand side to Aguero, to Mahrez. Mahrez this ball into the penalty area. Aguero controls it, turns, plays it across the box to Mendy. Mendy across, took a deflection, took it out of the penalty area. David Silva gets the ball down now. Mendy's still in space on the left hand side. United chasing shadows. Mendy's cross, diving header away by Smalling. It comes out to Fernandinho. Some City fans are shouting shoot to Fernandinho.
John, it's the same intensity as they come in that first half. It's as if let's go and try and take him apart in the opening 10-15 minutes of each half.
Yeah, and also as well, we'll come back to this because Mendy has got it, gives it back to Laporte behind him, and Laporte in the peach coloured boots runs the ball out of play, and it's a throw into Manchester United. Just wonder as well, the whole football watching world know that United have been so strong in the second half of recent matches. I almost feel that Guardiola has said that to them, as a warning. We've got to start strongly here because United have been so good in the second period, and they've got that second goal that could be crucial. And I know they were 2-0 up in the derby match in April when City could have clinched the title that day. We've got a stoppage because Rashford has just gone down as Bernardo Silva just stepped in there, and Rashford is suggesting that he might have been stepped on by Bernardo Silva. He climbs to his feet, he's okay. And Manchester City with this 2-goal lead now. 5 Live and the BBC World Service as well. Good to have you with us here on the east side of Manchester at the ever so impressive Etihad Stadium. Obviously for the Manchester derby it is packed, 54 going on 55,000 people. We haven't had the official crowd figure, but Manchester United now possibly heading to their 4th Premier League defeat of the season. City, Bernardo Silva goes for a long ball into the penalty area. Smalling had to get up and head it away from Sterling, who is the City player closest to him. Long and up towards Rashford, who shields it with his body and then jumps into the challenge. The ball ran away, Mendy was arriving, and Rashford deflected it out of play. Mendy sort of turned and struck a boxer's pose there as he glared at Rashford, but it is only a throw-in. If Rashford had missed that, he could have been in trouble. Lingard just in front of us, 10 yards inside the City half. There isn't much in that. Sterling with a challenge from behind has given us a free kick. Smalling then will play it away from the back. Manchester United, who after the win in Turin on Wednesday had won 3 matches in a row, Everton and Bournemouth in the Premier League, and then that great victory in the Champions League group, but here now staring down the proverbial barrel. Stones, middle of his own half, United with Lingard and Rashford pressing forward. Back it goes to Ederson, who chips it out to the left hand side here to Mendy. Mendy then passes it infield and takes Lingard out of the game. Fernandinho takes Fellaini out of the game as he passes it past him to David Silva, and United have to drop back into position. In actual fact, when United, on the rare occasions they have come forward with Martial and Rashford and Lingard, they have threatened, but it's just not happened enough. And now Fernandinho overruns the ball, and in comes Smalling with the challenge. They got there at the same time and both made contact with the ball, thankfully, and it bounces away. No free kick, and City are back in possession. Here's Bernardo Silva now. Bernardo Silva running between Young and Herrera and giving it to Sterling, and Sterling's into the box and shooting, and it's blocked by Smalling. Back out into the full back position and out for a throw.
Sterling wants to get out on this left hand side. He was in a position where he scored against Shakhtar in the week, that kind of position, driving into the box, goes on his left foot, good block. But United look like they don't know whether to press, sit back. If you press, there was a moment there when David De Gea kicked it long, Rashford flicked it on, but Martial and Lingard stayed wide, so it's comfortable for City to pick the ball up.
Throw in for City. Mendy takes it. Herrera wins it back. No Pogba. He's watching on. He is here in a very expensive looking grey long duffel coat, sitting in the stands. And Manchester City in a position here where if they've not already got this one, another goal would do it. Fernandinho plays it over the top to Sterling. Sterling pulls it down. Smalling's recovered. Still Sterling twisting one way and the other, and in the end just runs it out. Took a heavy touch and it's through for a goal kick.
So it's a fantastic ball over the top. Ashley Young, I don't know where on earth he was going. He went in towards David Silva, and Raheem Sterling just running behind him. He took it on his chest, and the ball's bouncing. And as it's bouncing, he's surely got to hit it with his left foot, but he decides to go on his right, allowed Smalling to come back. He's just got to smash it, you know.
Oh, lovely touch from Rashford through the middle for Lingard, and Fernandinho suddenly found pace and outstripped Lingard and passed the ball back to Ederson.
Pace, John, pace.
What pace? 33-year-old against the 25-year-old Lingard. And it was like he was running in treacle. And City now, the Olays have come out, and Lingard is booed roundly for getting his foot on the ball. One of the few local boys involved in this game. Shaw feels he was fouled on the halfway line. No free kick. Aguero taking it on. He showed too much of it as he ran at Lindelof, and the ball runs away through for a goal kick. So it's still 2-0 to Manchester City here. David Silva in the first half, Aguero in the second. Is it still 1-0 to Wolves in the second half at Arsenal, Mike Williams?
It is, yeah. We've played 10 minutes of the second half here. Free kick to Wolves on this near side. Moutinho lifting it in. Wolves really on top again at starting this second half as they ended the first. They've forced Arsenal into making a change at half-time. Unai Emery bringing on the young Frenchman Matteo Guendouzi to replace Alex Iwobi. Guendouzi immediately forcing a save out of Rui Patricio in the Wolves goal with a low effort, but Arsenal still knocking on the door. They trail by 1-0 here.
Lingard's afternoon is over. Romelu Lukaku makes his return. That's the first substitution. Lingard's off. I don't think there's anything wrong with him. Walked off the field. Lukaku comes on just over 10 minutes played in the second half.
Yeah, he'll go into that centre forward position. Rashford will come over to this right hand side. So you got Martial on the left, Lukaku down the middle, Rashford on the right.
2-0. But Manchester United coming forward with Martial. Passes the ball into the area. Oh, to Lukaku. Ederson comes out. He's taken him down. And it's a penalty to Manchester United. Just that one ball from Martial. Lukaku, his first involvement in the game. Ederson sprinted out to his right, went to ground, and as the ball was touched away by Lukaku, down went the Manchester United number 9, and it's a penalty.
We've seen exactly the same thing, didn't we, against Southampton in the last home game. Definite penalty, no question about it. He rushes out. Ridiculous decision from the goalkeeper. He's done it against Southampton, he's done it again. And it's Martial with a chance, John, to get United back into the game.
So no Pogba on the field, so there's no issue over him taking the penalty. It's going to be Martial, and he scores! Sends Ederson the wrong way, who's absolutely furious, the Manchester City goalkeeper, for conceding the penalty. Then couldn't keep it out, and Manchester United, amazingly, extraordinarily, are still in the game. It's 2-1 City.
What an amazing game football is. This is why we love it. This is why it's the best game in the world. You can see Pogba now on the TV pictures nodding his head, satisfaction with that coolly taken Martial penalty, sending Ederson the wrong way. But what a ridiculous decision from the goalkeeper, John. He's miles out to the right of his goal. Good ball from Martial to Lukaku, who's a threat in behind for the first time. And with United's first attempt on target, it's in the back of the net.
Yeah, first attempt on target. Barely had attempt on target or off target. But here's Lukaku now, who won the penalty, plays the ball over the top for Martial, who races onto it. Walker managed to get the right side of Martial and now plays it off the shins of the Frenchman. And it is a goal kick. Or did it bounce back onto Walker? No, it didn't.
You know, for listeners, John, who watched the Manchester City game 6-1 against Southampton, Ederson for the penalty, that was to our left. You know, this time it was to the right in front of the Man United supporters. What a ridiculous decision, John. The way he comes sprinting out, both arms out. Lukaku got there first. Stonewall penalty. Poor decision again from Ederson.
Yep. Ball with United with Lindelof, who plays it back to De Gea. De Gea out to Shaw on the far side. And now United take it on at pace down the left-hand side. It was the left-back Shaw who made a burst deep into Manchester City territory. Fernandinho came across. Another one of those little fouls. Knew what he was doing there as well. That's the second time in the match.
I tell you what, and what he's just done, he's just gripped hold of Mahrez' shirt as if to say, come on, give us some help here, as Shaw goes past Mahrez.
Free kick then. Manchester United with this. And from 2-0 down, it's now 2-1. United have got a set piece where they have been strong this season. Scored 2 goals from set pieces the other night, and actually Ashley Young's delivery from whereabout they got the winner. Here it is now into the penalty area. It's headed away. Matic with the challenge, and it bounced down, and Bernardo Silva is able to volley it towards the halfway line. It's just that area where they scored the winner in Turin on Wednesday night that Young dropped it into the 6-yard box, but just didn't quite get that on it this time. 2-1 to Manchester City. 5 Live. We'll let you know when the lines are open for 606, but you can get in touch on social media at BBC 606 to have your say. Here at Manchester United, Shaw, challenge from Walker, which upended Shaw. Took the ball, but Shaw went cartwheeling over and landed on the pitch, but he's back on his feet.
Absolutely great challenge there from Kyle Walker, and fair play to Luke Shaw. He's got straight up. What a tackle that was.
So it is 2-1 to Manchester City. Lines will be open shortly for 606. I'll tell you the number when we get the nod. But Matic has just chipped the ball out of play, and it's a throw into Manchester City. And almost with that, you've got the feeling that City just need a little something here, and Leroy Sané is called for.
I wouldn't be surprised if Mahrez comes off, John, even though he's created a goal for Aguero. You know, just seeing that way Shaw went past him and Fernandinho had to cover, he just had a little word with Mahrez. You know, instantly Sané got his top off. Will it be for Mahrez? I can't see him bringing Sterling off.
Bernardo Silva tumbles to the ground. Lindelof very tight on him near the halfway line, and it is Riyad Mahrez. And not much escapes Pep Guardiola. I suspect that he saw exactly what you did. And Mendy was just moved into the path of Riyad Mahrez as he was running off the field, just to say something to him.
He was saying, slow down, don't sprint off. That's what he was saying, obviously. Not obviously, John, I don't mean that in a negative way to you, because obviously Alistair Bruce Bowles, I don't at start as well.
I just wondered whether Mahrez, wasn't particularly happy, and Mendy was just saying to him, it's okay, it's all right. But here's Aguero, gives it back to Sané on the left-hand side. So Leroy Sané now, first pass from him, straight to Matic, who's looking for David Silva. But he's trying to win the ball back now, but Matic just glides forward with it. But Fernandinho wins the ball back from Martial, centre field. Now David Silva, here to Aguero. The ball bounces away from Aguero. He wants a free kick for handball, bounced up onto Young's arm. He's furious, Ashley Young, and actually picks up and holds the ball. And I just feel that with the scoreline 2-1, there's just a little bit of edge in this now.
Yeah, I think that's harsh from Anthony Taylor on Young there. It's so close to Sergio Aguero. It's not a deliberate handball, that.
Lines are open for 606. So book your call on 08085 909 693. We've got just under half an hour to play. 2-1 to City. David Silva with the free kick from the left into the back post. That's headed away by Luke Shaw. Comes out to Bernardo Silva on the far side. Bernardo Silva back towards Walker. Takes one touch. Has a look up. Low ball into Aguero, who is 25 yards from goal. And he goes round the outside. Aguero, he's still going into the penalty area. Pulls it across. Lindelof blocked it. And then Martial is bundled over by Bernardo Silva, and Manchester United have a free kick in their own left back position. And I think we can, in fact, it's been given as a City throw. And United have once again upped their game in the second half of a match. Here's David Silva. David Silva with the ball stationary at his feet. Silva eventually gets it going again and gives it to his namesake, Bernardo. Then the silver-haired Aguero He's got a Silva rinse, in case you hadn't heard that. Gives it to David Silva, now back to the right-hand side. Oh, lovely interplay. Sterling pulls it across to the near post. Smalling was there. Ball deflects up into the air inside the penalty area, and it was headed away by Matic. And then big Lukaku arrives on the scene, 10 yards inside his own half to give it to Martial. Anthony Martial scoring just now with the penalty, his 7th goal of the season, and now he's scored in 5 consecutive Premier League matches. Anthony Martial. Here's Rashford. Herrera tried to win the throw, bounced back in play, and he needed Ashley Young to tidy up against Leroy Sané. So United start to come forward again. The home supporters make their voices heard. Fellaini to the left-hand side to Shaw. Martial moves it infield. Lukaku caught in possession by David Silva, and Manchester City can bring it forward. But there's definitely a threat there now when Manchester United come forward, but City likewise, and it's being taken on by Sterling. Sterling using Bernardo Silva to his right. Bernardo Silva into the penalty area now. United defenders there in number, so it goes back out of the box to David Silva. He shoots from 25 yards. That's blocked by Shaw. The ball runs over here to the Manchester United right, but Mendy nicks it away from Rashford. And now Fernandinho. David Silva again just left of centre inside the Manchester United half. Leroy Sané, the German international, to David Silva. Now Fernandinho thought about a shot. Matic put in the challenge. Bounces back to Walker, who's actually going to walk it back towards the halfway line and just start again. Manchester United push out as they do that. Seen a great deal of Jose Mourinho in the coaching area. Much more of Guardiola.
You just look at that midfield three, Matic, Fellaini and Herrera. You just wonder if Mata could go into one of those positions. We see Shaqiri do it for Liverpool, playing that three. Can Mata do that? Could Sanchez do that possibly to try and get something out of this game?
Here's Aguero on the left-hand side. Now Leroy Sané. He beats Herrera. Still Sané, edge of the penalty area, weaving a run square. Back to Fernandinho. Oh, shoots low, but down goes De Gea. It was close enough to him. He was able to drop on it to his right.
That's the position Fernandinho likes to find himself in attacking areas. One touch, central, 25 yards out, drives it. David De Gea down to the right. Good save.
2-1 Manchester City. I hope your voice is going to hold up. It seems to be dropping a note with every minute that goes by.
And it says you can talk a bit more then.
You were vocal on the touchline this morning, I believe.
Yes, it was a win for my under-13s, John. 4-2 against Fletcher Moss, where Marcus
Rashford started. Here's David Silva trying to slip a ball through to Smalling. Past Smalling, but Smalling blocked it. Fernandinho 30 yards out. Sergio Aguero now, challenge comes in on him, and it's a good one from Matic doing a Fernandinho. And now United will come forward again. Martial back to Matic. Matic swings a ball from left to right. Rashford will do well to reach that. He can't. Stretches out a leg, but it bounces through for a throw-in. Mendy gets it back.
Mata and Sanchez warming up for Manchester United. John, I think it won't be long before we see one of those or either of those.
Yeah, City just playing the ball back to Ederson. Guardiola will be furious, won't he, with the way that they've conceded that penalty that brought United back into the game just when City were in control. But what a pass from Ederson downfield for Sané to chase it down into the full-back position. He got a shove there from Young as well, and it is a free kick. What a pass.
From inside his own 6-yard box, he has hit that ball 30 yards inside Manchester United's half wide for Sané, who's now got a free kick in a good position.
He's a great footballer, Ederson.
To be fair, John, he's got to work on coming out, making decisions, coming out for the ball when the centre forward's running him. Has 2 penalties in the last 2 home games in the league he's given away.
It's a free kick. I wondered whether Young might have been yellow carded for that, but it is only a free kick, and Sané, who was fouled, is going to take it. It's very close to the corner flag, 3 or 4 yards away. So it'll be Rashford is a one-man wall. It's like a short corner really, and United in their zones. Here's the delivery from Sané to the near post. Lukaku was perfectly placed to head that away. we're into the last quarter of the match. Manchester City 2, Manchester United 1. This is BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service. And for domestic listeners, the lines are open for the 606. Phone in with Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton. And the lines are open on 08085 909 693. You can get in touch on social media at BBC 606, or you can text 85058.
To be fair, you must be awful bored on a Sunday to ring up to speak to Chris Sutton.
There's a challenge for you. Wolves are still winning 1-0 at Arsenal. Ivan Cavaliero's first half goal. That was a 4:30 kick-off as United played forward towards Rashford, but it bounces through to Ederson, and he underarms it out to Mendy, who chips it in field. Fernandinho takes it down. He's got space in the centre circle to run it forward, which he does. Not at great pace. Fernandinho then lifts a pass to Zane here, who pulls the ball down now. David Silva is available. Silva to the byline. Spectators rise to their feet. Played it back to Mendy. Mendy scuffs it into the area. It's scuffed away. Fernandinho, curling shot, but close to De Gea, who just has to take a step to his left to gather the bouncing ball.
Yeah, looks like Matt will be coming on. Johnny's just getting instructions from the coaching staff. You know, such a great free kick in the game you were at midweek against Juventus, wasn't it? Can he have an impact in the final? How long's left?
We've got 20 minutes.
There you go, 20 minutes for Mata to try and get United from out of this game.
Yeah, not to mention the Newcastle match as well, when he started the comeback scoring from a free kick. So he's preparing to come onto the field, and we are now into the last 20 minutes of this game. City leading by 2-1. They were 2-1 up. Fellaini, a little trip on Fernandinho, and it's a free kick near the halfway line. Guardiola, who, it's a strange garment, isn't it, that he's wearing? Actually, it's the garment that Ali Bruce Ball was describing the other night. Now I see it properly. Guardiola, it's like a long hooded cardigan, a heavy knit. Here's Herrera, who plays it back to Lindelof. Now Smalling to Young, and then Young takes it again. Chris Smalling, and we will see the change very short. Sanchez is coming on as well. It's going to be a double change for Manchester United, so that'll be it. That'll be all three changes. Rashford, Lukaku having already come on for Lingard. Come on City, the home supporters sense that City need a little bit of help at the moment because Manchester United are in possession. Matic turns and passes the ball back into the centre circle to Fellaini. Manchester City, who've won all 6 matches they've played at home in the Premier League this season, unbeaten in the Premier League, home or away, since Manchester United won here in April. Mata and Sanchez are now ready to come onto the field. Next time the ball goes out of play, they'll be on. Lindelof again to Shaw. United just passing the ball around the central third of the field at the moment. Frustrating Manchester City, but not really creating any threat. Oh, Young took his eye off the ball and Zane was onto it, and it's deflected out of play for the throw, and we will see the changes. Herrera making way from centre field. I'll tell you about the other substitution in a moment, because it'll give us a chance, of course, to hear from Mike Williams at the Emirates.
1979 the last time Wolves beat Arsenal. They've got 18 minutes here to hang on for what would be a famous victory, surely their best since returning to the top flight. Remember, they've also taken points off Manchester City and Manchester United so far this season, Wolves, and they would deserve this win were they to hold on, but Arsenal are pressing. Bellerin has just fizzed a shot over, and Torreira as well forced a good save from Rui Patricio, but 18 minutes for Wolves to hang on here.
Juan Mata and Sanchez are on for Rashford and Herrera.
So it's 4-2-3-1 now, John. Sanchez on the right, Mata as a number 10, Martial on the left behind Lukaku, and then you've got Fellaini and Matic sitting.
So with Manchester United chasing the game, Mourinho in the second half has brought on Lukaku, Mata and Sanchez. Here is Sanchez now, dead leg after the game in Turin on Wednesday. Not fit enough to start, but fit enough to come off the bench, and he's fouled here by Mendy. It's a free kick to Manchester United on the right hand side, halfway inside the City half. Mata immediately across, could be Young to take it in. Young, who's got his right hand, his thumb bandaged again, and United line up the big men on the edge of the area. Mata strikes it crisply towards the far post. Fellaini with a header, bounces across the penalty area, and it's hooked away, up and away by Bernardo Silva. In goes Shaw. Shaw 25 yards from goal, but the ball runs away for City. Walker plays it forward towards Sterling. It's 3 against 2 for Manchester City here. He has Bernardo Silva and Sané. Sterling finds Sané on the edge of the box, who blazes his shot high over the crossbar.
Wrong option from Sané, so Sterling cuts inside. Sané's just got to slide Aguero in. He takes the shot on from 20 yards, smashes it over the bar. 3 on 2, John, as you rightly said, on the counter-attack. Wrong option as now City make a sub.
And it's Gundogan who is going to come on for Manchester City to take the place of Sergio Aguero.
I think we might see Raheem Sterling as the centre forward now. Just see what they're going to do. I think Gundogan will go into the centre of the park.
So there's very much a reaction, Robbie, to what Manchester United have done with Mata playing in the central area. Gundogan is going to come on, and as you say, Sterling has moved into that central position.
And Bernardo Silva will go over to the right-hand side.
Still the applause continuing. Aguero in no hurry. Sergio Aguero, who has scored his 11th goal of the season for Manchester City, the club record scorer. 210 in total for the club now. He gets a warm reception from Pep Guardiola, who holds both cheeks, and I'm not sure if he gave him a kiss, but he wasn't far away from it. Now City coming forward with Leroy Sané, who receives it from Bernardo Silva, through towards Sterling, outside the D, Sterling back into Sané, and Ashley Young just got a touch, and David De Gea, worried about whether it might be a back pass, quickly readjusted and kicked it clear. And then in the centre circle, Lukaku was challenged by Stones. No free kick to United. City coming forward. David Silva back to Sané, who returns it towards the halfway line. And Fernandinho's pass goes astray. There's a little bit of encouragement here from a number of things that are happening for Manchester United, even though City are still in charge. Fellaini then to Matic. Incidentally, for younger listeners, Sergio Aguero, having scored his goal today, as Mendy takes the ball down, is challenged by Sanchez, who he put in the challenge on Mendy, and the assistant has flagged it the other way for a foul by Sanchez on Mendy for a free kick to Manchester City. Only Alan Shearer has more Premier League goals against Manchester United than Aguero. But of course, Robbie, for those younger listeners, we should point out that the league actually began in 1888. Free kick for City. Ederson is going to take this. We've got less than 15 minutes to play. Ederson long and over the top of Sané, who gets his head to it, but it will bounce straight through for a goal kick.
So 15 minutes to go, John, plus injury time. United one attempt on target, that's the goal. It was a penalty. Ederson hasn't been tested at all. It was a poor decision from the goalkeeper, which allowed United back into the game. Saying that, City have got in some good positions in United's final third, but the final ball's been poor. They've only had 4 attempts on target and they got the 2 goals. So even though City have dominated possession, United, they're going to get an opportunity, you would feel, in the last 15 minutes.
Many were predicting a landslide, weren't they, today? A landslide Manchester City victory. They are winning 2-1, but United are interested, and 1 or 2 signs of anxiety, I would say, for City, both on the field and as well, I think, a little in the stands too, from the home supporters. David Silva sweeps the ball back. Ederson had to stretch to keep that in, but he did, near the dead ball line. And now strikes it downfield. This is for Sané to chase again, and this time he's got the better of Ashley Young, down into the full-back position. Now he faces him, and eventually the reinforcements in Sky Blue arrive. David Silva square towards Gundogan, and Gundogan gives it to the right-hand side towards Bernardo Silva, carries the ball with his brilliant left foot, allows it to run, then on his left foot back out of the penalty area, chips it up into the box. Young comes across to volley it away. City again, Fernandinho to Mendy. Mendy lifts it into the back post. It goes a long way past Gundogan. Now Bernardo Silva back to Sterling near the penalty spot, trying to turn, trying to find space. Back to Sané inside the penalty area. Sané trying to find a way through. Very nearly did. He beat at least a couple of Manchester United players when there was no space at all, but couldn't get the shot in, and United cleared it.
Wow, great footwork was it inside the box from Sandy, because nobody wanted to touch him, nobody wanted to commit themselves to try and win the ball. In the end, they crowded him out, they couldn't get a shot off. Good defending.
So close to finding a way through an almost impenetrable Manchester United defence, but City come again with just over 10 minutes to play. 5 Live in the World Service. Now David Silva to the left hand side to Sané with that great shock of black hair. Gives it back to Mendy, the powerful Mendy with his huge shoulders. Plays it back into the centre circle towards Stones, John Stones, then little ball forward towards Gundogan, and now Laporte. And this is Manchester City trying to regain their control here of the possession and indeed the mood of the game. David Silva back towards Stones. 6:06 coming on 5 Live. 0805 909 693 to talk to the new combination this season of Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton. Here's Mendy up the left hand side. Mendy has Sané there with him, and Sané at close quarters. 2 United men, Sanchez and Young, are there too. Mendy then infield towards Fernandinho, 30 yards out, gets a touch on it, then just stabs it to his right to Walker. David Silva has taken up a position out there on the far side. Indeed, the two Silvas are very close together. Now Walker receives it. Walker drifts towards the edge of the penalty area, takes on Fellaini with a touch. Walker stands up, the ball runs away, kept in by Walker on the far side with less than 10 minutes to play now. Walker crosses deep, Young gets up to head it away on the far side of the penalty area from where the ball came in. Mendy then flicks it very impishly into the area. Sterling back to Gundogan, went for the curler and it contained no curl. It ended up flying 10 yards wide. Yeah, it was good play from Sterling. Good chance for Gundogan, just didn't get the curl, as you say, Tom. Yeah, 10 minutes to play, be a similar length of time left at Arsenal, who could be heading for defeat. Mike Williams.
Unai Emery has rolled the dice here. He's made his final 2 changes, bringing on Mkhitaryan and Ramsey for Ozil and Kolasinac. And since you were last with me, John, Aubameyang has hit the post after being fed by Bellerin on this near side. They're knocking on the door, but they've got 9 minutes to find a breakthrough. Wolves still leading by a 1-0.
The Brazilian Grand Prix is live now on 5 Live Sports Extra on your digital radio via BBC Sounds app, and later on the website and app commentary on Federer Nishikori at the tennis at the O2. So it has been a bumper sporting weekend. I know you were at the fight last night, Robbie, but so busy with the Rugby Union, the Rugby League. Heavy defeat for England against New Zealand, but they'd already won the Test series this afternoon. Here now, Manchester United 2-1 down to Manchester City. Fellaini plays it down the left hand side to Martial. Martial holds it up, heads back up the touchline, gives it to Shaw behind him, back to Fellaini. Fellaini now crossing left footed straight into David Silva, and it loops out of play. It's caught by a spectator standing on his feet, who then offers the ball to Fellaini and cheekily puts it down on the ground on the other side of the hoardings, and eventually gives the ball to the Manchester United throw-in taker Shaw. Throw-in to Fellaini, it bounces off him. Bernardo Silva hikes it straight up in the air, out of play. Another throw. This is 5 yards back from the corner flag. 2-1 City lead. Martial trying to take it on, leaves it. Fellaini plays it back to Shaw. Shaw little ball in towards Mata, edge of the penalty area, might be taken on by Martial. It's crossed, comes off a defender. Martial had to hold it up because the challenge came in once again from Bernardo Silva, and it's out for another throw on the left hand side. Keep the pressure on, aren't they, down that left hand side? They're keeping the pressure on, but is it ever going to be delivered into the penalty area? Mata drives it across, it's blocked out again for a throw on that far side near the corner flag, the point where the two sets of spectators are separated by stewards. Now the throw-in is taken for Matic, who loses out to Bernardo Silva, and Manchester City. Gundogan has just passed it back to Smalling on the halfway line. It is a little nervy for City. Young plays it high to the edge of the box. Walker heads it out of play. Another throw. The winning second balls now. United City uncharacteristically dropping deep. Well, we've seen some great late drama in some of Manchester United's recent games, and now it's City who are coming forward, though. Managed to relieve that throw-in pressure. Mendy, David Silva in space. David Silva is able to take it on into the box and slip a ball past Young for Sané, but Smalling went with the German international, and Manchester United are back in possession. Sanchez up towards Lukaku, as well. Fernandinho and Mendy together snaffled the ball back from Lukaku, and City have it back again. Yes, that late goal that Chelsea scored in the 2-2 draw at Stamford Bridge, Manchester United's late winner at Bournemouth, and then the late winner against Juventus on Wednesday night. 2-1 to City here though. Gundogan to David Silva. David Silva turns and lifts a pass to Mendy. Mendy is going to approach the United penalty area, uses Sterling, then Mendy under pressure, touch to Sané, now back to Sterling again, and then Sterling goes further back towards the centre circle to Fernandinho. Yes, there's nothing gung-ho about Manchester City at the moment with this 2-1 lead. Bernardo Silva out on the far side since Mahrez left the field. Now Walker again to Bernardo Silva, finds Gundogan, back it goes again, and City go back into their own half. Lukaku putting Stones under pressure, but Stones does well to keep the ball, move away from Lukaku. This is excellent possession from City under pressure from Manchester United.
Great play.
Mendy's actually applauding like a spectator would from over here on the left back position, because of the way that Manchester City managed to just pass their way out of trouble centre field. It is great to watch, and the game is still finely balanced. City with this narrow lead. Fernandinho, David Silva. We're into the last 5 minutes of the match now. City have had possession here. This must be 40, 50 passes. Gundogan now is running the ball forward towards the edge of the United box. Sterling's in there. Sterling plays it back out to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva, left-footed, dangerous. Gundogan takes it down and scores! After all that possession, the result comes, and it will be a positive result for Manchester City in the derby after that. Gundogan stole in there, took it down on the edge of the 6-yard box, slipped it into the United net, and City lead 3-1.
Oh my word, what a team goal. You said in commentary, John, they must have kept it for 50 or 60 passes, triangles, one-touch play, movement, and then Sterling makes that dynamic run into the penalty area. The ball goes wide, and eventually it's Gundogan, a substitute, who made the run into the box. He was not tracked, he was alone. He got off, he pulled off the back of Matic. Ashley Young didn't get across. First touch, controls on the 6-yard line central, and then just slips it past David De Gea. Well deserved. What a goal, what a performance. City class, United chasing shadows.
And now the edginess has gone from the Etihad Stadium, from the home sections. They know they're on their way to victory. And Manchester United, who posed one or two difficulties but really haven't created enough. Manchester City now, I think, know that they've just about got them beaten. David Silva is carrying the ball from deep, and he passes the ball. Sané was blocked by the run of Smalling. Both of them end up on the ground, nowhere near the ball. Referee Taylor unmoved. Sanchez is then fouled, and it's a free kick to Manchester United. So a third goal for Manchester City here. And what has just happened at Arsenal? Mike Williams.
Equaliser for the home side. It had been coming, and it's the substitute Henrik Mkhitaryan whose long-range effort sailed past the Wolves defenders and past Rui Patricio in the visitors' goal and into the back of the net. Impact from the substitute. Arsenal back on level terms, and their 15-match unbeaten run is protected for now. But we still have 3 minutes, 1-1.
We still have 2 minutes to play, plus added time here at the Etihad Stadium, where there is a sound of Manchester jubilation, and the colour of it is sky blue. The Manchester United supporters behind Ederson's goal are trying to do their bit, but they're a long way from us. I can see them bobbing up and down and singing their songs, but they're being drowned out by the City fans, who have had a big release there with that goal from Gundogan. And now Walker passing it away, and here is Ilkay Gundogan. having just scored his second goal of the season for City. Gundogan will actually take the pace off it and go back towards the halfway line.
Such experience, such class. You know, they were keeping the ball. United need the equaliser, but you can't score if you haven't got the ball, and that's why they were keeping the ball. United were pressing them, they were knocking it round them. Eventually they thought, right, let's go and score, and they did. Poor defending. United at times defensively have been so poor, John, but you've got to say, class Man City, outclassed. I remember days gone by when City's biggest result of the season was always beating Manchester, no chance to win the league. You know, their season depended on if they beat United. Now it's just 3 points for them, I think.
And after this they'll be 12 points clear of Manchester United. 12 points clear after 12 matches. And what was it they finished last season? 19 points ahead in the end when United finished second. We're going to see another of the local boys. As I mentioned earlier, not too much local interest in the Manchester derby. Lingard obviously and Rashford, who are now no longer on the field, but the Stockport lad Phil Foden's going to come on for a taste of the derby action very soon. Jose Mourinho standing. He was standing impassively. The ball bounces towards him, so he just uses the base of his suede shoe to pat it back to Ashley Young, who takes the throw. And now Matic back to Young. Young swings it in high to the back post. Oh, Ederson comes flying for it, punches it out, but only to Shaw. Shaw now back to Matic. 3 minutes of added time. Matic in the area, gives it to Shaw outside the box on the left, and Shaw under pressure has to play it all the way back to Lindelof. So we're into added time, 6:06 to come. If you're a City fan, you'll want to talk to Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton on 08085 909 693. And also during the course of the programme, well worth listening, because we'll bring you interviews, hopefully live interviews, with Messrs Guardiola and Mourinho. That during 6:06. But United coming forward, Martial across, took a little deflection, headed away by Laporte, comes out to Matic again. Matic, little ball low into the area to Mata. Mata drifts across, back to Martial. Martial tries to give it back to Mata, but the ball rolls through for a goal kick, and it is David Silva who will be replaced by Phil Foden. So David Silva takes off his captain's armband and gives that to Fernandinho. He places it on his arm with some ceremony, actually. I think he got a cheer for that as well. And he slaps hands with Gundogan. He started the scoring today, and as ever, his level has been extraordinarily high.
Magnificent performance once again from David Silva. At the heart of everything Manchester City done, he's got the first goal, keeping the ball, always comfortable in possession. You can pass the ball to him when he's marked. He must be a dream to play with. Wonderful performance, gets a hug off his manager, and it's Phil Ford, a local lad, who enters the field.
And now David Silva, having played his part, his goal-scoring part in a Manchester derby victory for his club, will be off to get a final send-off from Spain next Sunday in his homeland. And Ederson is clearing the ball away downfield from the goal kick. Just hearing that there are 5 minutes of added time being played now at the Emirates Stadium, where it's Arsenal 1, Wolves 1. Earlier Liverpool 2-0 winners against Fulham, Chelsea 0, Everton 0. Those are the Premier League scores. You'll see Match of the Day tonight, Match of the Day 2. It's 11 o'clock on BBC One tonight. Mark Chapman with Alan Shearer and Jermaine Gina. Should be a good one this evening. It's been an intriguing game, this, Robbie. It hasn't been an absolute blinder.
No, it hasn't. I just think the way City started both halves, John, they got that goal, didn't they, early with David Silva. United couldn't cope with them. Same as the second half. You know, come out.
Here's Foden combining with Zane on the left-hand side. Foden gives it back to Zane, then makes himself available. City's number 47. And now City, Sterling and Zane, pass after pass. Foden's involved as well. United players there, they can't get the ball back, and Sané slips it between two of them to Foden. Now back to Sterling, and this is like watching one of those training circles, isn't it? Oh, and there's a couple of high kicks from Sterling, who some could say he was taking the mick, Raheem Sterling.
But listen, if you're on this side, you're saying brilliant. If you're on the opposite side, you want to smash him.
He was virtually dancing. And now the whole of Manchester City and all of their supporters can dance as well, because the final whistle goes and Manchester City have won the derby, and Sterling and Mata are just talking to one another down there. And Ashley Young, I don't think Mata was too impressed with Raheem